I'm a Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Tayebwa. Instead of spending too much on these wigs, the horsehair wigs, why don't we start our own, the Ugandan way? We get a bag of cloth, and on that bag of cloth, they design it. After designing it, they decorate it with, they call it what? Ensemble that represents every region. Nti the Busoga region nga baleta ensemble yankulu ya Busoga nga bagitaako. The Buganda region nga bagitaako. And the Toro region nga bagitaako. Danyankole da Teso da Kalamajong. So that this is moment to shine, and I am Maureen.
Katunyumiemu edition.
Today I'm gonna speak about the itchy white wigs, horse-made. Why am I calling them issue wigs? It's because
wig nge kuruma no muto bani yabireta nayenga twambara kutiya. In fact si wig bikutia waro batu we bikutia nze nasango nabuza ngangenda mu parliament nanga nesinza kutaba nanga bonena kwambara eche kikutia hinga chinduma ngane scratching echi.
Sometimes he would sit in the chair conducting parliament, but one is not uncomfortable, and he would let members of parliament discuss matters of national importance in a very luxurious, classic, elegant, and modern kiddish way. Reason being, him himself is not comfortable. How is he really going to conduct parliament when the head that brings sense in the body is not feeling okay? Always, every time, being itched, like a needle being pierced in someone's head. Hey! You have to know is one thing. These white issue wigs worn by judges and speakers of parliament did not start in Africa or modern politics. No way! They came from European royal fashion about 360 years ago. I know you're going to ask me, Maureen, where did you get this? Just sit, Kalida, and who give me the ears and the eyes, my girl and my friend. Now, it all started in France. France, it's where it started from. The wig fashion started with the French King Louis in 1600s. So the king began wearing these wigs because he was losing his hair. Munange and rich nobles also copied the style. They copied the fashion. And as usual, fashion is all about copying. So all the big nobles, if I say nobles, I mean the rich people, copied the fashion. Kakati, after copying the fashion, so soon wigs became a symbol of power, class, and prestige. Kakati, after all that, so in the royal courts across Europe, powerful men started wearing the big powdered wigs called periwigs. By the Honorable, instead of, Honorable, why don't you at least try these periwigs? Because for them, they apply powder in it, and then before wearing, that might help. That might help than putting on these plain ones that really itch your head. Oh. But again, where I am, let me continue with the story. So England copied the fashion as well. So Charles II of England returned to England after leaving France and brought the wig fashion with him. Reign, and that's 1660 to 1685, wigs became fashionable in England society. Kakati, judges and lawyers copied what the royal court used to wear. Oh wow. Nange, at first it was just fashion. Kakati, not a legal rule. Not a legal rule. Quote me well and understand me proper. So, after all this, I know you're going going to ask me why judges kept them. Let me tell you why judges kept them. You know, by the 1700s, wigs were out of trend. As you know, fashion comes and goes. Wigs were out of trend, wigs were out of fashion for ordinary people. But courts kept them for several reasons. Ask me, Maureen, what reasons? I'm here to tell you. Authority is the number one. It made judges look powerful and serious. Then uniformity is number two. Everyone looked the same in court, I mean judges. Then traditional. You know, courts like to preserve old customs, and that's why they're still keeping these wigs. And then identity. It separates the judges and the public and even members of parliament. These wigs separate the speaker to these normal members of parliament. At least when you go to parliament, or when you're watching parliament, especially now, let me give you an example, the Ugandan parliament. You can differentiate between the speaker of parliament and the member of parliament because of the wigs, that white wig, which has turned into a white, luxurious, very expensive each wig. Even if the society stopped wearing these wigs, my girl, my boy, my dear, my friend, judges and lawyers continued the tradition, and it's even where members of parliament, especially speakers of parliament, copied the fashion. For identity, tradition, uniformity, and authority. Those are the main reasons. And then I know you're going to ask me why you see them in parliament or courts in some countries. Mama, kandu kutolele konton. My dear, mnange. Mnange. You know why you still see them in some countries? It's because many countries that were once colonized were once under the British legal system, kept the same court dress. So many countries which were once colonized by the British, they all keep this custom, or they all kept this custom, especially UK. And even some countries, African countries like our Uganda. That's why they are still putting on those wigs. Yes, I mean those white wigs. See, it's because mnanga before colonization, those people that used to rule us, that's the way they used to wear over to war. Okay, kakati, and even Caribbean countries and former British colonies all do keep and all do still follow the custom. So that's why you still see those white horse hair wigs on judges or speakers of parliament. And now the fun fact. But let me tell you the fun fact about these wigs. You know, modern judicial wigs are usually, you know, those modern judicial and parliamentary wigs.
Do you know that they are made out of horsehair? Hey, these wigs are made out of horsehair. Mbalabasi de bakolamu those wigs.
The best ones are too expensive. They cost hundreds of dollars. Now,
Me, I would suggest Honorable Titi that instead of still wearing that chikutia, the issue one, very expensive but for nothing, why don't you start at least putting on the Ugandan way, a backcloth well designed with symbols that symbolizes Uganda culture, norms and values. Since you're now a representative of our nation, a big influencer, each region with its symbol, Nsimbi, the hoe, the drum, everything that symbolizes. That will even help you because
those MPs, you're dealing with different personalities, different backgrounds, different people, different behaviors. If a Musoga MP misbehave, you just press like this on the Nsimbi of Musoga. And his ancestors or her ancestors punish him or her indirectly. Let it be Damuganda, same to Damunyankole, same to Damtoro, same to Damukaramoja. Doesn't seem this will help you, Honorable Tayebwa, than it is horse wigs. Okay? And then let me... and it's even going to prevent this misconduct of members of parliament, those that are always fighting in parliament, those that are always fighting in parliament, those are always misconducting in parliament, those are always that speaking the language that is not accepted in parliament. Those incidents will conduct them indirectly, and at least you also be relieved. You will conduct parliament knowing that you have a helper. You have those helpers, and the helpers that they do really respect, because in Africa is Africa, we are all Africans. We do all have our ancestors, and no African that does not respect the ancestors. We do all respect. Twabisangaho, tujabirekaho, atena even the other generation, we do. We do the same thing, respect. So let's start having our own. I'm going to show you different fashions. Different fashion. Guys, let's be sincere. This into picture. Supposing our TTO triple A is putting on such a wig.
How smart and comfortable they will look than wearing the issue ones that makes them feel uncomfortable, because you cannot conduct parliament. You cannot lead 340 plus people or members of parliament when indeed you as a person, you are uncomfortable. But these ones, first of all, you're going to be highly respected. You're wearing a symbol that symbolizes your region.
Everyone for we, the generations. Different generations, because when you mix Jay-Z and the millennials, it's trouble. Obwongo butuwesera, ate you have to have a brain obwesera okusinga obwaffe. So, Honorable, truth of the matter is, bakyuseemu, baba wembugo, represent our culture in parliament, than putting on these horse wigs. What do they really symbolize? Nothing. But anyways, guys, let me tell you, these wigs that you always see that judges and speakers of parliament do wear, they started as a royal fashion trend in France, Paris, and England. And in the 1600s.
Because with these new wigs that I'm suggesting, at least there you can explain proudly that I'm wearing this one because I'm an African. This is a backcloth. This is a symbol of a drum. This is a symbol of a cow because I'm from Ankole. This is a symbol of an xylophone from Busoga region. Well, and simple explanation. Someone would be like, these people love so much their cultures, their values, and their norms. But a horse hair with no any symbol. That's why they are always itching you, because name Barabas donut dance mamitwe jaimu.
Guys, thank you much for joining, and thank you much for subscribing.